Hello you beautiful people, it's Adam here from Paws Parks and Games and welcome back to Planet Coaster. Today we're back here in the Christmas dark ride that we started building last week. We do a little bit more on the outside of the ride. Today we finish up a little bit more work on the station building and we start work on the actual main street that will be in front of the ride. So in the next episode we are going to start working on the actual ride itself, but like I say, in this one we're just finishing up some bits outside. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, don't forget to give us a like down below and also subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with all of the content. We've got plenty more of this series coming over the next couple of weeks up until the big day, Christmas. So let's jump into this episode. Right then, so like I said, we're doing a bit more work here outdoors, adding some snow, some pathways and some little bits of decoration. This little street that I'm building currently is still a work in progress, so at the end of this episode it is not 100% finished, so do bear that in mind. And we also do use a few blueprints in this one for the buildings on the street. I'm not opposed to using blueprints on this sort of build, and I don't think you guys should be either, and that's what they are there for. So yeah, a few blueprints that people have made go down this little first entrance street here, just a few shops. The reason why I'm using blueprints is A, to speed up time, B, because the sort of thing that I'd have been using anyway, and C, it's a quick way of getting some shops and people into the park. So yes, you could argue it's lazy. I kind of like to think it's just a bit more of bringing in the community to the project. So yeah, we've put a few little blueprints in, only those 4. Just to add a little bit of spice to the street. A few trees go in, again more foliage and trees and all that kind of good stuff will go in as we go through the build, but a lot of this will be coming back and forth to different areas to add a few more little touches here and there. A lot of snow flourishes across the ground to give that little depth of realism, and then like I said at the start, we are adding a few more finishing touches to the station building itself. Just a couple of little decals and wooden beams and stuff like that. We also changed the roof, and I do a little bit of work inside moving the queue, as I did mention in the last one, so it all exits on the entrance and exit is on the same side of the path, so I've not got any random bridges going through the ride area. So it makes it easier when we do actually get to the ride itself, which I promise will be in the next episode. A little bit of work here on the roof, just add a little bit more of a sort of texture, as it was very flat before, so we had a few extra flourishes, peaked roof at one side, a tiny bit of roof on there, and then we do add a chimney as well. Again, just so you've got a little bit of variety to the building, and it works quite well, like I say, with this street. Right, so what we're going to do now is jump into the rest of this time lapse. I'll throw in a bit of music for you, and I'll come back at the end and show off what we have been working on. Right, so we are back here and we've built what you can see on the screen. So we'll go through a few little bits now and some sort of real-time glamour shots, let's call it, to have a look around what we have done. So a little bit of work there on the station. And like I mentioned at the start, we did put in some of these new buildings here, which are blueprints. Again, I'm not opposed to using blueprints. I think they work quite well in this setting. And they just make this entrance street quite nice and gives you a really lovely entrance into this ride. Remember, this build is really about the ride, not the street. So, yeah. So we had a little bit of snow on the floor to give it that bit of realism. And this gives you a nice view down what the guests will see as they enter our well, let's call it an area now. It's more of a ride. It's a mini area, and that's what we've got here down this entrance street. So now we've got the shops in there. It's added a few people into the park, so it gives it a little bit of life. And like I said, out here you'll see a few of the little touches that we've put in today, including this tree, a few of the decorations down the main area, and then the new lights and roofing on the station building itself. So I think it's come together quite well. Still a few more little bits we can put here and there to sort of make it look a little bit better, but generally I am quite happy with the outside. A few more bits and pieces we need to put on the street, like extra just bits of theming and bits of realism, and then we'll come to that maybe in another episode or two. But yeah, nice little overview of what we've done there outside. So on to the next one. Like I say, what we're going to start doing is actually working on the ride, putting a few of the show scenes, and I think the plan is to build the ride first, and then we'll come up with some kind of cover for the building. So I do this one. This will be an indoor dark ride. There might be an outdoor section, potentially. Not really thought that far ahead just yet, but it's definitely going to be an indoor ride, which is something which we will obviously start work on next time. So I still would like a name. The name that we put in there at the moment is a bit of a placeholder unless we can come up with something better. So if anybody out there has got any potential names or ideas for scenes or anything like that, let us know down in the comments below. I'd love to get your guys' views, opinions and help with this build. So, like I said, next episode will be out in a few days towards maybe next week. We'll get working on the ride itself. And there, this series will continue up until Christmas. So, to make sure you stay up to date on all the content here on Paws, Parks and Games by giving us a subscribe and hitting that bell icon to stay up to date with all the latest content. And also, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a like down below. So, I'll see you in the next one in a few more days. And there'll be more from Planet Coaster here on Paws, Parks and Games. Cheers for watching, folks. See you in the next one. Bye.